go! Keep rolling! I am rolling!
Hey everyone, welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today we're diving into the Creep tapes, the twisted prequel to the Creep series, and exploring the chilling finale of Episode 1. If you thought the Creep films were unsettling, this series takes things to a whole new level. In this episode, we meet Mike, a struggling videographer who unknowingly steps into a deadly game when he takes a job filming an audition tape for Jeff, a man with more sinister intentions than he lets on. As the story unfolds, we're thrust into a world where the lines between acting and reality blur, and the price of desperation becomes life or death. So grab your popcorn. This one's not for the faint of heart. Let's break down the ending and what makes it so disturbingly unforgettable. Spoilers ahead, of course.
And then it hits you. Wait, the axe!
Mike's desperation leads to his fatal decision. Mike, a struggling videographer, is introduced to us as someone willing to do anything for a paycheck. When Jeff, under the alias Jeff Daniels, offers him $1,000 to shoot an audition tape, Mike sees it as an opportunity he can't afford to turn down. Despite the fact that the job requires him to travel to a remote cabin in the woods, Mike is willing to overlook the oddities of the situation. The allure of quick cash blinds him to the increasingly bizarre circumstances, like Jeff's eccentric behavior and the isolation of the location. This sets the stage for the tragedy that's about to unfold. Mike's choice to accept the job, despite the growing number of red flags, is the first step in his undoing. It's a classic case of temptation leading to a fatal misstep. The promise of $1,000 is enough to make him ignore the gut feeling that something is wrong. It's the kind of desperation that many people can relate to in a world where survival often means compromising your principles.
No more audition scenes. No more acting school. That was all ego bullshit anyway, okay?
The blurred line between acting and reality. From the moment Mike starts filming Jeff, it's clear that Jeff doesn't just want to make an audition tape. He wants to create something real. His insistence on getting real emotions from Mike and later terrorizing him in the peach fuzz mask makes it evident that Jeff is not merely playing a role. He's using the process of filmmaking to manipulate and control. The entire premise of Jeff's acting audition is an exercise in confusion. Is Jeff truly an aspiring actor, or is he playing a part to lure Mike deeper into his web? What's especially disturbing is that Jeff thrives on creating chaos under the guise of performance. The line between what's scripted and what's real becomes increasingly blurred, leaving Mike and us, the audience, wondering what is actually happening. The performance isn't just a fake audition for a role, it's a game of manipulation designed to push Mike into a corner and force him to question his own reality. At this point, it's not about filmmaking anymore, it's about control. Jeff's idea of directing has nothing to do with movies. It's about playing with human emotions and turning people into pawns in his twisted version of storytelling.
Tell me about the scene that we're doing here.
Yeah, I'm James Caan. You're Kathy Bates.
The Misery reenactment, a moment of horror in the making. Things take a dark turn when Jeff insists that Mike participate in a reenactment of the infamous hobbling scene from Misery. Jeff, playing the role of James Caan's character, demands that Mike hit him with a wooden bat. Not a fake bat, but a real one, with real force. This moment is not just uncomfortable, it's deeply disturbing. Jeff wants Mike to fully commit to the performance, to blur the line between acting and violence. It's a test to see just how far Mike is willing to go to satisfy Jeff's demands. But when Mike hesitates, when he refuses to hurt Jeff, it's clear that Jeff's thirst for authenticity isn't about creating something compelling for the screen. It's about forcing people to do things they don't want to do. It's about the power that comes with coercion. This scene exemplifies the horrifying escalation of Jeff's control over Mike. What starts as a simple request to film a basic audition spirals into a dangerous, high-stakes performance where Mike is no longer just a cameraman. He's now part of the performance itself. And in Jeff's world, there are no boundaries.
Look, I don't want you to worry. Look, it's just rubber, it's fake. Here, you want to test it?
The key moment, a prop or a real weapon. By the time Mike and Jeff move into the woods to film a scene recreating their first meeting, the tension is unbearable. Jeff introduces an axe into the scene, telling Mike it's just a prop. But Mike's growing unease makes him question everything. The question of whether the axe is real or fake becomes a central moment in the story. Is this just another scene in the movie, or is Jeff's madness spilling into the real world? When Mike notices Jeff's hand bleeding from a wound caused by Jeff intentionally rubbing the axe blade into his skin, it becomes clear that the axe is not just a prop. It's a deadly tool. It's not for show. Jeff's attempt to prove that it's fake by injuring himself is a chilling manipulation tactic to confuse Mike, to make him second-guess everything. This moment is a sick game, a way for Jeff to blur the line even further between reality and fiction.
Oh, you got it, Mike. You got it.
The chilling final act, Mike's fate sealed in the snow. The final act of episode 1 delivers a brutal twist that's both horrifying and inevitable. As Mike makes a desperate attempt to flee, he realizes that he's trapped. The snow outside has created an isolated world where escape is impossible. The key to his car is in Jeff's possession, and when Mike tries to fight back, it's already too late. Jeff's calm demeanor throughout the scene, as he stalks Mike through the snow, reveals the true nature of his twisted art. He's not just playing a character in a movie, he's taking control of Mike's life in the most horrifying way possible. The final shot, as Jeff approaches the camera and winks at the audience, is a chilling confirmation of his sadistic pleasure. For Jeff, this isn't just about filmmaking. It's about the power to create life and death situations for his own amusement. And now, Mike is nothing more than a prop in his final scene.
Oh, wait. No, come out, Mike. I saw you. Hi.
Joseph's obsession with filmmaking more than just a hobby, one of the most disturbing aspects of the Creep Tapes. Episode 1 is the way Jeff's obsession with filmmaking is tied directly to his need for control. It's not just about creating a story, it's about crafting an experience where the people around him are forced to participate in his vision, whether they want to or not. In this sense, Jeff is more than just a killer. He's a twisted auteur, using his victims as puppets in his personal horror film. Jeff's obsession with capturing real emotion on camera, from the fake audition to the gruesome reenactment, shows that for him, filmmaking is an art form that requires true authenticity. But unlike any filmmaker, Jeff doesn't just manipulate the story, he manipulates the people involved in it. His filmmaking process isn't about creating art for the world. It's about asserting power, creating terror, and then recording it all as part of his sickening narrative.
19th century vampire? That was kind of dumb. What if I just play like...
The final shot, a deadly wink to the audience. The episode ends with one of the most disturbing moments in the Creep franchise. Jeff, standing over Mike's bleeding body in the snow, gives a wink to the camera. It's a moment that breaks the fourth wall, pulling the audience into Jeff's sick game. His wink is not just a sign of triumph. It's a signal that he knows he's in control, not just over his victims, but over the audience as well. In a twisted commentary on filmmaking, the Creep Tapes positions the audience as complicit in Jeff's actions. By watching, we become part of his game, just as Mike became a pawn in Jeff's twisted narrative. The wink isn't just a moment of horror, it's a challenge to the audience to question their role in consuming this kind of content.
No.
Yes!
The Dark Side of Filmmaking, a commentary on power, money, and art. At its core, the Creep Tapes. Episode 1 is a commentary on the dangers of filmmaking when it's used as a tool for control and manipulation. Jeff, as a filmmaker, is not just creating art for the sake of art. He's creating a world where the lines between fiction and reality are blurred, where human life is reduced to a narrative device, and where the pursuit of power becomes the ultimate form of expression. Mike's decision to accept the job and his willingness to keep filming despite the red flags is a tragic reminder of how desperation can cloud judgment. But Jeff, with his obsession with creating real stories, takes that desperation and turns it into something far more sinister. What begins as a job ends in tragedy, not just for Mike, but for anyone who dares to step into Jeff's world.
So what's the story?
Don't know yet, Michael. But I'm excited.
Our nerdy thoughts. The final cut, indeed. The ending of the Creep Tapes. Episode 1 is brutal and unsettling, a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the lengths some will go to for the sake of art. With Jeff's twisted vision of filmmaking, he doesn't just capture horror, he creates it. And in doing so, he forces his victims and the audience into roles they never agreed to play. As Mike's life ends in the snow, Jeff's story continues, with the camera rolling to capture it all. So this was for today's folks. See you in our next video. Till then, bye-bye and take care.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.